Firefighting in Canada this week is brought to you by VFIS of Canada, a division of CVIS Incorporated, Canada's largest insurer of firefighters. In this week's episode, the CAFC provided recommendations for the Canadian government's National Firefighter Cancer Framework. Then, Ontario invests $10 million in infrastructure and training for firefighters across the province. And the Maritime Association of Fire Chiefs held the Atlantic Fire Leadership Conference from June 27th to 30th. The Canadian Association of Fire Chiefs released a 48-page report outlining over 30 recommendations for the Canadian government's upcoming National Firefighter Cancer Framework. The recommendations come from members of the fire community who participated in workshops discussing the lived experience of firefighters with cancer, department best practices, prevention and presumptive legislation, and how to communicate with health systems to increase their understanding surrounding the unique problems firefighters face. Specific recommendations included, but were not limited to, a harmonization of presumptive coverages across the country, an increased focus on fire prevention, strategies to mitigate fires related to rapid housing development, electric vehicles, and other areas of innovation, and the replacement or updating of firefighter gear. Minister of Health Mark Holland is expected to present the National Firefighter Cancer Framework to the House of Commons in October. The Ontario government is investing $10 million into firefighting infrastructure and training, primarily through the province's Skills Development Fund. 90% of the investment will go towards the construction of 5 new training facilities, which, when complete, will have the capacity to train 28,000 firefighters over a 5-year period. The locations and projects include a new fire services campus for Orangeville Fire, a training complex in the municipality of Clarington, a fire training facility in Aurora, a new fire hall supporting local training efforts for Hanover Fire and Rescue, and a fire and rescue training facility in the town of Georgina. The additional investment of almost $1 million will be made in partnership with the Ontario Professional Firefighters Association to facilitate fireground survival training in the Niagara, Toronto, and Kingston regions. The Maritime Fire Chiefs Association's Atlantic Fire Leadership Conference has wrapped for another year. Credit Union Place Center in Summerside, PEI played host to 125 attendees and 115 vendors from across the country from June 27th to 30th. Speakers included retired Fire Chief Arjuna George, West Kelowna Fire Chief Jason Broland, and NFPA Canadian Regional Director Laura King. Thanks again to VFIS of Canada, a division of CVIS Incorporated, Canada's largest insurer of firefighters. Stay tuned for our next episode on Friday, July 19th.